shot. Do you have the power bar and so on? And the red letters, the red numbers, Terry? I'm just going to do it this way for now. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for singing with me. I've chosen 2 songs, and there will be a third one at the end of the third message and so on. A completely new one that we will sing at the end of it and so forth. Thank you for joining me with your presence physically and also your presence spiritually, having an interest in what's being done right now. I have looked at the material and we're not out of the bush with this. We're there for a beautiful series. I'm full of confidence in Christ with this, helping me to put these things together, things that I have studied basically years ago. I just cracked the door open. I find the place a little bit kind of warm tonight and so on. So it's basically it. Message number 3. On anthropology, the doctrine of man. I would love to encourage you, if you have missed the first 2, I don't know how many people missed the first 2, give it a try at least to listen to them, that you may understand where we're coming from with our messages and so on. I had a good time with Jan, finished the message last week explaining his view on the law of thermodynamics, but I'm not going to go back to that today. Creationism teaches 8 things and so on, and I gleaned that from the internet, of course. The only thing that I want you to note here, it's if you do it like this, and you raise your arm like this at the level of your head, and you make a circle that touches the hand and the fingers and so on, the very center of the circle is the belly button, the navel. Okay? So that's basically Da Vinci with the doctrine of man, and I think it's an accurate picture to teach basically the creation of man for the proper perspective and so on. Because mankind is very precious in the eyes of God. It's very complex. We are a very complex being, and that's why I don't want to fail to explain what I need to explain. All right, so it teaches basically 8 things, and we'll go through tonight, and the message will not be that long. We go there. Okay, we start. Now we say creationism. So now we left a little bit behind, although I will mention again the word evolutionism, but now we get into creationism. I could have done longer, but it's too boring, too technical, and you teach the faults, and you need to be careful with what you say, and so on. Right now, we speak basically, mainly 80% of the message tonight about creationism, what the basically Bible believers should believe and endorse and respect without dishonoring God and so on. Let me talk about the 6 days of creation here. You have them in the book of Genesis. If you want to go, you go, because I'm going to give you more scriptures. In verse 5, of the Genesis account, chapter 1, you have 1 day. In verse 8, you have a 2nd day. 13, 3rd day. 19, chapter 1, 19, 4th day. 5th day in 23. And verse 31, the 6th day. You can circle that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. That's all I want for now. And when you go to the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 11a, the first part of it, it's on the screen. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth here. Let me say a few words about the Hebrew word for day, which is the word yom, Y-O-M. Okay? Is it possible for the word day, yom, to be used here for many days? Yes. It is possible that the word yom may be used for more than 1 day. When we say the great day of the Lord, or the day of the Lord, it's a reference to the 7 years tribulation, the day of Jehovah. Okay? The yom, ayom, Jehovah. That's the day of the Lord, and it's outside only 1 day. So the Bible allows for the word day to be used for more than 1 day. And my best example is the day of Jehovah, which is the Great Tribulation. But, having said that now, As soon as you see the word yom in the Bible used with a numerical, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, it does allow only for a 24 hours period. That's it. Okay? I saw your face at the beginning, but you know that I teach Revelation, and when I allude to the day of Jehovah, it's 7-year period. And it's always the same expression. But as soon as you have a numerical, okay, if you have a number and so on, it means 24 hour, not more. So, exegetically speaking, Genesis chapter 1 cannot mean more than 24-hour period. Whenever the people ascribe more time here, it's to accommodate evolutionism. So those of theistic evolutionism that they believe in the 6 days, but there are gaps in between of more time and so on, they do it for the only reason to accommodate. Any of these guys on the picture behind the TV, the Hasidim, even Olga, mastering the Hebrew language, it's 24 hours period. There was an evening and there was a morning on top of this. Day first, always limited by 24-hour period. I would like you to remember this. That's the first thing that I need to say about the 8 things concerning creationism. Because, beloved, you will face these things when the people, even in Christianity, will say, no, there is more time in between and so on. And I know a few churches in Victoria, without naming them, that allegorize the whole creation. They allegorize it from A to Z. I can say more, but it's okay for tonight. Are you still with me? Because I don't want to lose you. The second thing about creationism, it's the image and the likeness of God in man. I will come back to that tonight. It's basic. Mankind, the famous, what I have shown you here, is made in the likeness of God. Okay? Let me say a few things concerning that. When God created Adam and Eve, we call it, what you see of me right now, we call it the material part of man. Blue eyes, shoulder of one shape, legs of one shape, 2 sexes. Most of the teenagers would not agree with that anymore, but still that, 2 sexes and so on. The body of man was created by pre-existing material. It was not like the planets and so on, a creation out of nothing. The body, the material part here, was basically created from already existing material. You know that. Adam was created out of the Adamah, the dust of the earth, the dust of the ground, okay? And the female was created by not necessarily a rib, but the side. He opened the side and he took a part here from Adam and he created basically Eve with this. It occurred by the immediate intervention of God. No evolutions. Basically, God, of course, created the dust, but he created the earth, ex ilio, out of nothing, but he took what was already created. Mankind, Adam, was made to look after the earth, so he made man out of the dust here, and his wife was created by his side. Okay? The immaterial part of man, what you don't see here, the soul, I'm going to emphasize on that part, more to come in the future with the Hebrew word. God, you know that, breathed into his nostril and made him a living soul. So basically, concerning the immaterial part of man, the soul is derived directly from God. Not necessarily so with the animal. Okay? He breathed into the nostril of man, and man became a living soul, and that was directly from God here. He did not take it from the soul here, anything from a composite already existing. That's what creationism believe. That's why basically we know about these things. That was the second thing. And I will get into the Hebrew word for image and the likeness of God. My love. Yes, this is Daddy. Okay, the image and the likeness of God, the body formed from a pre-existing material, and the immaterial part of man derived directly from God. And this is only an introduction right now of Creationism, because like I said to you, and I repeat, I will elaborate on the image and the likeness, which the animal don't have. Just to give you a foretaste here, I'm a hockey fan. I was looking for something this afternoon on Google that I did not find. And when any good players shoot the puck in the playoff more necessarily, and they hit the post, what do they do most of the time? Not all the time. They look upward. They don't look at the scoreboard. Sometimes they do, but they look. Only man has been given that capacity, not the animal. Only man is given the capacity to look an hour or two upward. Not there yet. Not there yet. Cannot explain that yet. Okay? The wolf, they do it to their trust. They don't to open their throat and to hurl and to do it, but not to the Creator type of thing. This is because the image and the likeness of God is not in the animal kingdom. Number 3. The Bible mentioned Adam too often. And Adam here must stand for an individual, and he does. It's not only a myth. Sometimes he is the representative of the human race. He is, since we inherit his sin nature. But he has to be an individual here. In Genesis chapter 1:26 to 5:4, he is mentioned many times. In 1 Chronicles, interestingly enough, which is a genealogy here, in 1 Chronicles chapter 1 verse 1, Adam, Seth, and Enosh. It says Enoch, Canaan, and Mahalalel, and Jared. You cannot allegorize these guys, so how come some churches allegorize Adam and Eve? So Adam has to stand as an individual. Job 31:33. Have I covered my transgression like Adam? Job says. Hosea chapter 6 verse 7. But like Adam, they have transgressed the covenant. In the case of Adam, it's not the Mosaic covenant, it's the Adamic covenant and the Edenic covenant. Specifically the Adamic covenant. They have transgressed my covenant. To transgress, you need to be an individual. In Matthew, it says they will become one flesh, and they leave them, the father and the mother, and they become one flesh. Luke 3, not Luke, but Hosea 6:7, I'm done with this. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13, for it was Adam who was first created. I still need your attention. So what's the point? There is too much in the Bible to allegorize or not to treat him as an individual. It's nothing new to you. I know that you hold him as a real individual. Okay? I know that you do that. So there is more scriptures about it, but read the lengthy passage, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, straight down to 4:5, he is mentioned many times. So you need to look, you simply take a concordance and look everything that it says, look everywhere where it says Adam, and you have a beautiful Romans chapter 5, 12 to 19, the first sinner and so on which I will come back as we go deeper in our study and so on. This you will like. When you take it seriously, and now I'm not asking you to agree with me at all. If you disagree, that's good, but I hold the position that I will say, and I'm not going to waver. When you take the Bible seriously, man is just about 6,000 years old. And it makes sense based upon what we have here. So man is only around 6,000 years old. Okay? And you have the Genesis account of chapter 5 and 11. It's very special there. I would like you to look at it later on, where it doesn't say this one begat this one, because when it says that in the genealogy, this Mark begat Bruce, or whatever the case, it can be the grandfather, and it can be the great-grandfather. That's why there is gap in genealogy sometimes. But when you look at Genesis chapter 5 in totality, and chapter 11 in totality, there is no such a thing as this one begat. It gives more detail than this. This one became the son of this one, and he lived that much, and after that he died. So you have lots of details, and when you calculate the number of years, you come around the figure 6,000 years old. I asked my wife to Google a Jewish calendar, at least the front cover here, 2021, and she circled in yellow the year 5,781 count of Adam. It's very close to the figure of 6,000 year. This is borrowed from Chuck Charles Caldwell Ryrie, the Study Bible, a timeline of Genesis. Creation, the earliest cultures in Mesopotamia, Noah. So Noah here was after Adam, of course, the Noahic flood. So your 5,781 fits perfectly right there. Am I losing you? Good. Let's move on another slide here. I went to Egypt. These are not Google. This is the picture that I took. I was living in a hotel in Egypt, in the pyramids in Giza, in that city. And there was a big plaque like this. And look at I like this, estimated figures. It counts for all the numbers. 2650 BC, that they baptized basically the year of that pyramid. Egyptian dynasty begin, so your 2650 BC goes there. So the pyramid are 4,000 years old. So why would I go back with mankind millions of years? There is no need. And the Jews have it proper, 5,781, based upon a very complex calendar, but it does make sense. So when you take the matter seriously outside of the lies of evolutionism, we're not that old. It's not that old, actually. It's pretty good. Don't need to agree. Number 5. Okay, this is complex. I'm going to do my best with this, with number 5. The Bible does allow for divergence within species, but does not allow for evolution of one species to another. A dog is a dog, and it does not evolve in a horse. But there is quite of a difference between your dog and a Saint Bernard.
Oh, for sure.
So it allows for a divergence there, but within the same kind. A little, is it a Chihuahua?
Chihuahua, yeah.
It's a Chihuahua. It's not going to evolve into an horse. It's not going to work. So within certain species here, that's why we have here the black race, Japanese people, Chinese people, and white race, and so on. A human being begat a human being. Olga looks like both, the Sophia, and so on and so forth. So it's not one simple kind evolving spontaneously onto complex higher kinds. That's the teaching of evolutionism. After their kinds, meaning after their species, they evolve, and so on and so forth. Okay? All species were created according to their kinds originally and can reproduce only after their kind. And our parents are Adam and Eve. That's our parents in creationism. Next slide. Okay? Death, number 6 out of 8. Death entered the world only with Adam. I repeat because you're not listening right now. Death entered the world with Adam. Not necessarily the fall of Satan here. Death entered the world with the world with Adam here. The Bible does not allow for death before the fall of Adam. You come with me in the book of Romans. Please turn. Come with me in the book of Romans chapter 5 verses 12 to 21. I read for you. Listen carefully. It's a very complex passage. I have lots of compassion for those who are doing Romans right now in their church. Therefore, just as through one man sin entered into the world, and death through sin, and so death spread to all men, because all sinned. For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin was not imputed when there is no law. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam until Moses, even over those who had not sinned in the likeness of the offense of Adam, who is a type of him who was to come, which is Christ the second Adam. But the free gift is not like the transgression. Because if by the transgression of the one, which is Adam, the many died, much more did the grace of God and the gift by the grace of the one man, Christ Jesus, abound to many. The gift is not like that which came through the one Adam who sinned. For on the other, the one end, the judgment arose from one transgression, resulting in condemnation. But on the other hand, the free gift arose from many transgressions, resulting in justification. For if by the transgression of the one, Adam, death reigned through the one, much more those who receive the abundance of grace and the gift of righteousness will reign in life through the one Christ Jesus. I'm not going to make an exposition of that because it's difficult. It goes in circle. My only point here that I want to make here that is important for me, okay, it's that death entered the world with Adam. All life, even that which is presently extinct, like the dinosaur, were originally contemporary with Adam. Bang! Now will people be in disagreement with me? Before Adam's death, no blood can be shed. Before Adam's death, no blood can be shed. When Adam and Eve sinned, they broke this. I'm not going to break it because it's going to fall on me. And they sewed a few leaves like together to hide their physical nakedness. You know the story. God said, good job, good work, but it's your provision. And when you break a tree like this, you might see a little white sap, the liquid in the branches. God said, no, cannot approach me like this, Mark. It's not going to work. He slew an animal. And for the first time in history of mankind, Adam and Eve witnessed the shedding of the blood on the ground. And he clothed them. So it's good for the animal kingdom. There could be no shedding of the blood. So everything that lived in the past lived contemporary with Adam, because there was no shedding of blood at that time.
No need shedding of blood. They died of old age. They died of blood.
No comments. Okay? Number 7. Flood geology. Any geological system of dating to be accurate must take into account the worldwide flood. The flood was not really a flood universal. It was just a local flood in Mesopotamia. And it was not universal. Come on.
Then why did the natives talk about it here?
The flood was universal, and the entire earth was covered with water. And I don't know, this man here, Jan, not to pick on you, is a biologist, and I think he has an idea of the strength of water. You can see local flood today happening in diverse countries, and it wipes out rocks big like,
India, yesterday.
very big. So can you imagine a worldwide flood? So any dating system, it's good for the carbon seed that we decline with the fossils animal, must take into account the worldwide flood, but they don't do it. That's here, to have a good dating system with the fossil record, you need to take this into account. Number 8 and last. This you want to note. Creation, by its very nature, requires the appearance or the apparent age or appearance of age. When Adam and Eve were created, how old were they? You said 0. An hour old? Were they having the appearance of age? I'm going to start with the Grand Canyon. Of course, when you look at this, erosion. The rain, the sun, and the rain, and the sun, and the wind, and the rain, and the sun, and the wind created that crapology.
Right.
Think about the flood. What it can leave on this surface of the planet after the flood cause and so on. And for the water to recede, we don't know how long, we know how long it takes, but the surface of the planet was reshaped. And that's why you need to take in consideration the fossils and so on. I don't have an image of the tree, because when God created the trees, they did not grow. It has to have the appearance of age. And it does, and this is something to consider. So the best example is, again, my people, Adam and Eve, here. We'd like to focus on the picture for a moment. Take half an hour to look, and I'll get back to you in half an hour. Forget about this. Delete the tree, okay? You have a face, okay? Forget about this. What's wrong with the picture?
With Adam and Eve?
Yes, you don't answer. What's wrong with the picture?
Clothed themselves before.
Pardon me?
They are clothed before they ate the apple.
I'm just supposed to give them fruit to Adam.
What's wrong with the picture? Give it a try.
They both have navels.
You nailed it. You nailed it. They didn't have belly button.
No.
They were not born of a lady. So that's why I've shown the picture here. So they were born with the appearance of age. It takes a long time for that kind of haircut to get with the lady. I don't know if they were looking at this. This is not the point. If I take the fig leaves away, they are sexually mature. He created them sexually grown-up human being, and this is their day number 1. They're 1 year old, or 0 age, when they're old, an hour, or 2 old. And you cannot design them with a navel, because the, how do you call it, the cord?
Yeah,
Umbilical cord was never cut for them. But we are from them. They were the only parents that were created fully grown. So it does answer, not to all the point of technicality of evolutionism, but we don't need that billions of years. That's why I believe that this planet is not that old. 15,000, 20, 35. I cannot put a date, but forget about billions of years. That's why I kind of like the kind of the reconciliation of these things. This is the sun. So now, should I move the sun here for another 10? Why not? But billions to reach there? No. No need. He reshaped the planet because it became void. By the fall of Satan, it was not inhabitable for mankind, so it was a reshape. He never creates anything void. And the earth became formless and void. Okay, let's try again. Oh, now it looks better. I didn't have it right for the first time. I put the proper saw on my skill saw. The teeth were too big, so it was a void. When you finish your house, when they did the finishing, they don't do the finishing that you have with a chainsaw. It's too rough of a cut. So God created everything proper, and then He reshaped it, and then it was a proper habitat for Adam and Eve. 6,000 years ago. Not that long. Plus 2,000 if you want. Because Christ died 2,000 years ago. So give and take a little bit. What's this? We are destroying speculations and every lofty things raised up against the knowledge of God. And we are taking every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. We did that tonight by a short presentation. It was not my best delivery of what creationism is all about, and now we need to dig. We will look at their holiness, because they were two people created with creaturely holiness. They were holy. Upon creation, a test came. You know what happened. We will study all this. I want to leave you, because I'm concluding right now with this. Complicated stuff. In Genesis chapter 126, the first part, it says, not A, it's 26, the A should be closer to the 6 here. Let us make. Be with me, please. It's one Hebrew word, 3 in English, let us make. In Hebrew, one word, na'aseh. One word here. And it's a change of form. Thank you, my love. And it's a change of form from the jussive. Don't worry about it. The jussive form, it's kind of a command. When it says let us, when it says let there be, it's a jussive form, let there be, to the cohortative form. It's the complexity of grammar. Jussive is like a command, let there be. The cohortative, it's a plurality right now. Let us, and it opens the door for the triune God. It doesn't teach 3, but it's an open door for the plurality of the Godhead. Okay? Why does he say, let us make man unto our image? Now we change from jussive to cohortative. It's simply because what is about to be described in 26, 27, 28 is the crown and the climax of God's creation. So what is the crown and the climax of God's creation when he said, let us make man in our image? It's the epitome of God's creation. What is this? It's you and I. And that's why he seeks these pearls. In the parable of the pearls, the pearl seeker is not you. You never sought for one pearl in your life. The one that does the pearl seeking. Shoot. Yeah, there's one there. Olga. Yeah! Mark. The one that does the pearl seeking, it's God, because you are the climax, the epitome, the paramount of God's creation. But there is one that was there, existing before mankind. What's his name again? No. Give me the name. S. Satan. Lucifer. Shining one. Satan. And what he does of mankind, when you take the roundabout at the Chinese restaurant, look at the people on the street. The salmon, your dog, and all the animals, you kill 2 deers. They don't do dope, these guys. They don't inject anything, enphenol or tenphenol, what's the name of it, in their vein. You don't. Because they have not been created into the image of God. Satan is trying to kill mankind. He hates mankind because we surpassed him in creation, because there was never a let us make Satan in our image. He was created beautiful, arch cherub, chief of all the cherubim, and so on. But us, that's why he's trying to destroy us by putting a mask, having no social interactions anymore, being afraid of everything except what we should be afraid of. Pass the door with this, beloved. You are a precious jewel. The epitome of his creation. And that's what I'm dedicated to do for the next few months only. To carry on, to get to know what we are, what is our destiny, and the in-betweens a little bit. We'll study the creation of man, the account in detail. What is this? What happened? What we have become? The immaterial part, tripartite or bipartite, and our destiny. And the coming of the Messiah, of course, as a man. I like this. This is my favorite slide. The let us. It's a moment. Whew. I'm done, beloved. So, Olga, I'm going to ask you to push the button. Thank you.